Party people, welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week on the show, I am joined by Johnny Stanton for a game of Elf with a 10-page backstory. Johnny is a professional athlete and professional nerd. You can catch him in all manner of wonderful D&D and tabletop-related things, including Adventuring Academy and actual plays across the board. Most recently, you can see him in Almost Friday TV's first ever D&D game, which you can catch on their YouTube or linked in the show notes. He's a wonderful ambassador for the hobby that we share, and I truly admire that so much about him. You can find all of Johnny's work, his gaming stuff, his podcasts, all of that good stuff at StantonIV.com or check the show notes for more information. Elf with a 10-page backstory is a wonderful love letter to overwrought, over-elaborate tabletop characters and the stories that we weave for these characters that we imagine. Each player creates their most trope-filled, over-the-top, badass elf character, and then goes through a story where they continually unveil all of the hidden, mysterious parts of their backstory. It's short, it's punchy, it's charming. I love this game a lot, and I was really excited to sit down and play it. You can find more information about the game at devandecibel.itch.io or check the show notes for more information. Before we dive in, one thing I have to shout out is that we have 3 new Patreon backers to thank: Paul Doyle, James Carouse, Christian Gonzone. Thank you so much for supporting the show. I hope you enjoy the fun bonus things, including a whole bunch of episodes of Batman Bump in the Night and Superman Walk in the Sun that I'm dropping this month. We've got a bunch of cool stuff having the Patreon this month. You can find all of that information at patreon.com/JeffStormer. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me.
Thanks, future me. I am beyond excited. I've got this game in front of me. I've gotten some notes that I think are going to go in some wild directions. I'm sitting down with Johnny Stanton. Johnny, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really cool to get the ask, and this is awesome. I love this.
I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a really great conversation, a great experience. But before we get into all of that, why don't you take a moment, let our lovely listeners at home know about what you got going on you want them to know about.
Oh, man. The biggest thing that I have going on is that, as I just mentioned off the recording, I have a 7-month-old son, which is the big new thing in my life. And first-time dad, I'm super excited. Besides that, I haven't had the opportunity to do a ton of creative projects, which, you know, I'm sure would surprise nobody who's a parent.
Like you've had a couple things going on, you know.
Yeah,
exactly. Understandable.
Exactly. So, you know, I've had a lot of things that you can support in the past. I think the main thing that I'm looking forward to doing in the future, I would love anybody to watch the Almost Friday or the Friday Beers D&D videos that I've been doing with their channel. It's a really cool, fun sketch comedy group based out of LA that they invited me to DM some Dungeons and Dragons episodes for them. We've left the audience hanging, so I'm looking forward to continuing that story now that all of them are local again. So watch those videos, encourage them, say, hey, we love the D&D, we want more D&D. So yeah, go check out those videos.
Fantastic. I'm really, really stoked because I think, like, speaking of D&D and fantasy games, like, the game that we have in front of us is just a really wonderful love letter to all of the things in fantasy gaming that are great and sometimes awful, but, like, in a way that is really magical. We are sitting down today to play Elf with a 10-page backstory. It is a fantasy role-playing game where your character is going to be a badass elf or dwarf or something with pages upon pages of deep, edgy, tragic, or enthralling lore, and you're going to surprise me with that lore as I pitch you this adventure. You have told me nothing about the character.
Jeff, we're going to be
created.
surprising we're going to be surprising both of us with the lore that I have, because I'm going to be honest. There's only so much that you can do with trying to prepare multiple characters for Elf with a 10-page backstory. So we're gonna both find out what these backstories are at the same time.
Great. I'm so excited. We've got, yeah. So let me ask you this. Like, what are you excited about? What are you looking forward to? What are you bringing to the table? Like, what's on your mind as you're sitting down to play?
Before I introduce my first character, and we're gonna be building this stuff together. The first character that I have ready is something that I fell into this trap too with my first character. And it's not even so much of a backstory or so much as a stereotype or a cliche. It is far more just what I have found in my experience as a new player, and as well as somebody who introduces a lot of people to fantasy gaming, is this oftentimes ends up being everybody's first character. I have probably half a dozen to a dozen times people that I've introduced to the game, they either heavily consider or end up playing this character, this specific racial and class build for D&D. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Everything else, I'm just looking forward to improvising some goofy stuff with you.
I'm really excited. I can't wait to learn what this first character is, because I've got ideas. I've got thoughts in the back of my mind of like what the go-tos that I've seen are.
I don't think it's not an internet meme of a first character.
Okay.
It's a
great
real life people.
There's a specificity to it that I'm really excited to dig into.
That's like, honestly, it's not even, you get 2 words into the character and you're like, okay, I see it. It's not something that is like I said, it's not a meme. It's not even so much as a cliche at this point. It's just real life commonality between a lot of new players.
We start our story in the bubbling boglands as we sweep over we're gonna say it's the Drowning Frog Tavern. We sweep over the Drowning Frog Tavern. It's got the sign has a little frog. It's got a little like stein of beer, and we see the water line is like right at its head, and it's kind of raising it in a cheers as it sinks down. This is a I'm so excited. The tables to create a random tavern. Why I love a good specific, and it landed on one of my specific gaming obsessions, which means I have to think about what the bizarre local specialty of this tavern is. They are known for. They are a tavern that also specializes in like regionally, locally caught low country boil. So you get like the bags of like of crawdads and frog and various things that have been caught from the local swamps and thrown into a bag with spices and boiled. So that smell is in the air, and like the shells are on the ground. They kind of crack under your character's feet.
Each breath is so spicy.
It's so spicy. It is the a real cayenne is just like lingering in the air. Talk to me about like introduce your character as they enter into the tavern, following a lead on some sort of job opportunity.
A lone wolf, if you will, a hooded, shadowy figure walks into. They said the Drowned Frog is the name of this tavern.
Yeah,
walks into the Drowned Frog, and obviously all eyes turn to this new mysterious figure, stepping not foot but paw onto the driftwood flooring. You see a black furred tabaxi rogue stepping into this tavern. You see Flame Shadow Bladehawk, green eyed with a flicker of fire behind the pupil, with a little bit of a scarred lip, revealing a snarly fang, just steps towards the bartender.
I need to emphasize.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna vocalize it at least once, and I feel my immediate reaction, and I cannot emphasize enough that the reaction that I'm having is the highest grade, which is to say, I have like held back the words "fuck off" like twice now, and I'm like, that's the sign. I think that this is hitting everything that it needs to be hitting.
My first D&D character
thing.
was a Tabaxi Rogue. My wife's first D&D character was a Tabaxi Rogue. There have been at least 4 or 5 other people that I have introduced D&D to that I've either let them or talked out of playing a Tabaxi Rogue.
You're so exactly correct. Like it is that there's You hit it. You really like as soon as I heard the pod feed, I was like, fuck, okay, I know where this is going. Great. Okay.
Everybody has a
Great.
little bit of furry inside of them.
You know, and it's when you really get introduced to the idea of the game and you go like, oh well, I could just do my first zone, and that hits, and it just you're absolutely right. Waiting for you in the
By the way,
Drowned Frog.
I do have to give a little bit of a backstory. The name was I as one does, I looked up Tabaxi name generator, and the first one was Flame, and then I looked at the naming mechanic on Elf with a 10-page backstory, and I rolled a 2, which was something with Shadow, Blade, or Hawk in it. So I went with Flame, Shadow, Blade, Hawk.
Great. Really hits.
Why not?
Hits like crazy. I'm so happy. This has already given me everything that I wanted out of this experience. Waiting for you inside, there is a like holding a like pulling their collar over their face, like as though they are, you know, shielding from the cold even while they are inside in the warmth of the tavern. There is like an older, middle-aged like farm owner, has like a sack, like a small sack of gold coin on the table, and like sees you make your way in and sort of like almost ashamedly or embarrassedly kind of like raises a hand and kind of waves you over to their table.
I think Flame Shadow, I'm just gonna call him Flame from this point, looks from the left and the right, kind of eyeing the room, making sure that there's nobody who is taking too keen of attention on him, steps forward to this figure, kind of eyeing the gold coin purse just a little bit too long. You called me over?
I assume by the look on your eye and the look at this coin purse that you might be the person that I have come here and that I've put out a call to meet with today. Normally, we farm folk would take care of this among ourselves, but I'll be honest, I just don't think that we've got the tools to deal with this particular problem, so I think bringing in an expert is the right approach. Hi, I'm Okra, by the way. Okra Barrelcrest. I didn't introduce myself. I'm a little flustered. I don't do this often. I haven't hired a mercenary before, so this is my first time doing this. I'm so sorry.
Okra, you chose correctly. I am, in fact, the only man for this job, or cat, if you will. Tell me, how can I help?
What do you know about demons?
My father was a demon. Know this. I know exactly how to handle a demon. Father was a demon, mother was an angel. And everything I learned about killing demons, I learned from my mother. Everything I learned about being a demon, I learned from my father.
Our farms have been terrorized by a demon. A demon raider has been appearing from the skies in sort of an extra-dimensional floating castle and coming down, rampaging, stealing our cattle, destroying our homes, attacking us. I'm afraid that somebody is going to die if we don't do something to stop this very shortly.
That's the exact MO of demon raiders. I've seen this far too many times. I think I know how to help, but it's not going to be cheap.
We can pay you what we have. It's just, and you'll be in our debt. I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep our farms open if we don't do something about these demon raiders. If you can help us, if you can save us, then we'll pay you what we can now, and you'll be in our debt, or we'll be in your debt for many a year to come. Just please tell us you can help.
Worry not, farmer. Flame Shadow Bladehawk is here to help. Point me in the right direction and I'll get to killing demons.
Which is going to bring us to our first challenge, which is, I think that the situation as it is unfolded to you is, this castle in the clouds has been sort of appearing and descending down with, this, heavily armored, flaming sword wielding demon prince thrashing down and just sort of waging hell.
Honestly, it's really a wonder that nobody has died yet. The fact that Okra's like, I'm worried somebody's going to die soon. It's like, well, a demon's here. I thought that was already an issue.
You would be, I think, like, and it's funny that you say that, because I do think that is a conscious concern that your character has in the back of their brain, is that, like,
Sure.
this has been happening and no one's been killed yet. I think our first challenge, which is going to, we'll walk through, like, how challenges work. Our first challenge is going to be, like, finding and infiltrating the castle in the clouds, the Nether Castle, Narautu, which is that is going to be the challenge before you, right? It is a floating castle in the sky. It descends at random. I think that you're going to have to identify how this castle is floating through nether space, find a way to get through, to climb the clouds, to get into it. All of these things are going to be the challenge that you've got to face off against.
Mhm.
It's going to be a fairly easy roll because we start fairly low and the challenges get progressively more difficult, which means that the challenge is currently at a 4. And I think, like, what you're going to do is you're going to start. I'll walk you through how you roll for a challenge. Because part of this is going to be, you're going to tell me how your character's elaborate backstory factors into this.
Yep.
You're going to start with 2d6. You're going to roll both of those, and you're going to take the lower value to determine your result.
Okay.
But before you roll those dice, there's a few things that you can do. You can reveal to me something about your tragic, dark, or impressive past and upgrade the roll once.
Okay.
Or if you make a called shot, or you say a cool line, or you proclaim the heroic feat that the world will behold, you can upgrade a second time. So tell me how your character is attempting this. Tell me how this factors into your character's elaborate backstory. Like, break down your approach to finding and breaking into this demonic castle in the clouds.
So I think without a word, Flame turns away from Okra, starts walking out the door. On the way out, grabs a flask of ale from a nearby patron, just downs it, throws it on the ground, walks out the door, and says, Featherfoot, to me. And I'm going to, that's my called shot, is there is a steed, without knowing the the impressiveness of the steed. It'll be determined, I think, by the roll of I'm summoning my steed to me. And then depending on what I roll, I think it will determine what that steed is.
Great. I love that. I love this a lot. Great. Then your number to beat at this moment is just a 2. You just got to beat a 2. You got to get a 2 or better. So you're going to roll 1d6 and tell me the action.
Okay. 1d6. 1d6, not 2d6, right?
Yeah, just 1d6 at the moment, because you upgraded from 2d6 lower result, which means now you're rolling 1d6 and taking that number flat.
Got it.
And then if you upgrade a second time, you can roll 2d6 and take the higher value.
All right. That's a 6.
That's a 6. You do something. The results that you take specifically also come with a narrative prompt. And in this case, a 6 is you do something totally fucking badass.
I love it. So, I mean, Featherfoot is definitely a Pegasus. Which is my plan on how to get to this castle in this.
That feels right. That feels like a slam dunk.
Yep. So I think I step out, and as I call for Featherfoot, this winged white horse. No, it's a black horse with smoke, trailing it. Swoops down, and without any kind of effort, I just grab onto the reins as he's flying past and lift up into the sky with him, flying towards this castle in the air.
And the castle emerges like out of a thunderstorm. This fucking Dr. Wily ass, Dracula ass castle like descends. There is smoke pillowing from it. There are the grinding of ancient machines. You descend upon the castle, and we start our next challenge, which is fighting your way through the demon castle. I think like immediately, runes on the walls of the castle start to glow, and like bolts of fire begin flying in your direction. The castle itself is trying to shoot you out of the sky. There is chanting in the air. It is an aerial chase sequence. How are you navigating this? How are you touching down? How are you beginning to fight your way through the hazards of the castle?
Sure. Well, I do have a question. The bottom half of the doing sick shit portion of this page, it looks like I may have accumulated some aloofness. Is that correct?
You did accumulate a point of aloofness. You are correct. Thank you for pointing this out.
Yeah.
Aloofness is a representation of physical, emotional harm, stress, frustration, or increased arrogance. I will describe the peril or humbling that befalls the character. This is specifically because you as a 6, you gain a point of aloofness. This is arrogance. This is you are unmatched and can do this alone. And I think like what we see is, I think what I'm going to throw out here, because of the story notes that I've rolled on the random tables, I'm going to tell you what you don't notice.
Okay.
And the thing that you don't notice is that like, you overlook I mentioned the grinding of machines, and I think the thing that you don't notice, the thing that Fire glazes past as they race through this, as they do this aerial chase sequence, is the relative complexity of a lot of these sorts of machines and fire cannons and automated crossbows and things. There is a degree of there is something else going on here that Fire has not picked up on because you are too focused on doing a cool infiltration.
Sure. So I think Flame sees the arrows and ballistas flying through the air at me, kind of just effortlessly dodging left and right, weaving in and out of the shots upon the back of Featherfoot. I think as he sees a shot coming at him, what does a rogue do? I think he leaps from the back of Featherfoot upwards and sees this big, long, like 8-foot ballista coming straight at his chest. But he leaps over it and tries to like run across it to and then land again on top of Featherfoot to get past like the one true shot that they were going to have.
That feels really great. That feels fantastic. This is a challenge if you want to roll. If there's anything else that you want to bring into this, any backstory details or additional things, you've currently upgraded 1, so you can roll 1d6, or if you can add another detail, you can roll 2d6 and take the higher result.
I guess the question that I have is how much agency do I have over the environment around me, and how much do I have, or is it just of my own character?
I think that my short answer is
I don't know how much you have prepared.
For sure. I've got like a general pitch of like I know what is happening behind the scenes, but in terms of like what you're visualizing moment to moment, I think that my short answer is
some curveballs here.
I think that's my short answer is like whatever is cool, like, because I think the spirit of the game is, what do you, Johnny, think is the coolest, most over-the-top, badass fantasy bullshit thing to happen right now? And so, like, you tell me what you want to throw in, and we'll figure out how to make it work.
So I think, and I'll let you decide how it gets there.
Yeah.
But as I run along this 8-foot-long ballista bolt, time slows down, and as I'm about to step off of the rear of it, the tail end, the feathering that fletches the back of this bolt, I would recognize those feathers anywhere. Those are angel feathers.
Yeah, they absolutely are. No, you have tapped in exactly to my notes. I can't believe like how effortlessly that factors into the notes I already have. And so yes, there are absolutely, and I think like what happens in that moment is like you recognize the look of the feather, and as you see another bolt fire, like it, because we are leaning hard into it, like it goes wide And angel feathers, an angel will always arrive where it is meant to go. And so these feathers have been fashioned into functionally the ballista equivalent of homing missiles. Like it turns in the sky at this like 8-foot ballista bolt turns in the sky and starts like hurtling at you.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, what am I rolling?
It sounds like you're going to roll 2d6, take the higher result.
Okay.
I've got my challenge number here, and so that'll determine harm and how much of an impact it gets.
All right. That is a 6 and a 3.
That is a 6. That you'll take the higher result. So that is a 6. That is a second point of aloofness on flame.
Let's do it.
I think this is an instance of I think how I want to describe this, because this is I think the ballista bolt. I'm gonna propose. I guess like the question is, do you jump over it on your own? Do you jump onto your Pegasus? Like, what does it look like when you bypass the second ballista bolt?
I think I like matrix out of the way, but I pluck one of the feathers from the bolt to kind of get like a closer look. Like, do I recognize this feather?
As you do that, it sends the ballista bolt like off course, and it bashes into the wall of the castle, giving you a perfect moment to try and leap through it, and like add to leap into the castle and find your way inside.
Yeah, no, Featherfoot veers off, narrowly grazing the stone wall of this castle, just slow enough for me to be able to dive through with a somersault and take in my surroundings.
Great. Inside, there are chains on the wall. Like all of the various demon accoutrements are there, right? There are chains on the wall. There are torture devices. There are altars of blood. You notice these massive eldritch runes carved into the wall of the castle. And there are like suits of armor holding these massive sawtooth swords. And I think, as you stand there, and evaluate, 2 of them are going to come to life and move upon you. What are you doing to dispatch these 2 animated suits of armor with their massive demonic blades? I think there's one thing I want to say before we fight some living armor.
Sure.
I think the thing to note, because you were studying this angel feather, this is an angelic like choir singer feather. This is one of the circles of angels that is the singer, the cherub. This is one of the like, it is not inherently this is not something where, warrior angels where the swords of the gods were conscripted into becoming weapons. There's a slapdashedness to it, I think is what it is.
Which obviously explains the angelic voices and singing coming as the bolts are flaming flying past my head.
Oh, 100%.
Yes. So I think coming into this room, seeing these animated armors rise out of their stands and start coming at me, I do take in the rest of the room, and the demonic torture devices, I think, brings back gives me a bit of a sense of PTSD from the times in which I was kidnapped by my uncle, my father's brother, who's also a demon, obviously. And the torture that I had to go through in that period, I think leaves me a bit stunned. And I wonder, because I'm now just suddenly getting very attached to this character, if I can reduce my aloofness score by kind of having a stunned second of traumatic past. By getting some I don't know if this is necessarily a moment of tender vulnerability with my comrades, but I don't know if we want to bring that in.
Since you're on your own, I think that feels like a perfect invoking of that mechanic. You have shown that vulnerability, and I think it does reduce your aloofness score by 1. I think
cool.
Like it does drop by 1
because we can't reach 6, or else I become so aloof that I leave the party.
that you just sort of wander off, which I think
Right.
is a
Kinda
very
just
funny way
get
to
distracted.
describe it.
Cool. So I think I don't know what kind of what that happens within the story, but I do think that the sight of these demonic torture devices does stun me a bit, and I don't know how that affects this challenge.
I think I want to I think I want to throw you into the deep end a little bit and kind of escalate this challenge into like fold this into the next big challenge that I have written, which is
Okay.
to say I think that you are captured and taken to the boss is I think what happens. Like I think it is
I just go
by the time you
catatonic
look
and just
back
let
up,
them
the swords
catch
are
me.
upon you and you kind of
Right.
have you are taken to the chamber of the demon prince of Naharleth.
But what they don't realize is that this was my plan all along.
Yeah, of course it was.
Obviously.
If there's one thing that I love in this world, it's a get captured on purpose plan. I just
Especially when
there's-
it was definitely planned from the start.
yeah, right? Like it just really hits me in the heart. So you arrive at this like throne room cast in bone, every demon trope, and I think the thing that you notice is more of these identical runes carved into the walls here as well. Sitting before you on a throne is the demon prince Naharleth, cloved feet, curling horns, Tom Cruise in Legend, the Balrog from Lord of the Rings, just like the biggest demon that has ever demoned,
Mhm.
is like sitting on a throne and like looks at you kind of almost. There's a mixture of like nonplussed and almost relief, right? It is I think like there's a little bit of a sigh before he kind of stands up and, conjures a flame blade and goes like, finally, a challenger to hopefully wage war against me and put an end to my reign of terror. And can we just do this thing already?
I think Flame has at the very least come across you said Naharleth is this character's
Yeah.
name? I think he at least has heard of Naharleth before in his demonic
That feels right.
studies. I think he knows that like, okay, all he wants is a challenger, is somebody who to face off. It doesn't even feel like it's related necessarily to what's going on the floor, on the surface of the earth. This seems to be just in the hopes of facing down against a hero.
Mhm.
And Naharleth, I've been wondering when I was going to be able to face off against you. But the time has happened not for which. Instead, I am here to facilitate your search for a bitter foe, a rival of all ages.
This is a roll for sure.
Yeah.
This is gonna potentially do some damage to my challenge. This challenge is rated at an 8, so it's gonna take at least 2 rolls to like deal with this.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna give you an upgrade for this pitch because I am intrigued and want to see where it goes. Do you have a second upgrade? I think because you've already tied it into your backstory, we can call this 2 upgrades. Roll 2 dice and take the higher value.
All right. I don't know where I'm going with this. This is just bullshitting. At this
I'm just
point.
excited to see where I'm as excited as you are to see
Jeff,
where
I
it
just
goes.
rolled my third 6.
Great. I'm loving this. I love this so much. What was your other dice result?
A 5.
Oh my god. The dice are hot today.
They're really hot today.
I think you do something badass. And I think what it is that like you have impressed the demon prince Naharleth, right? Like I think it is the flaming sword dissipates in an instant. And
I think I have an idea. If you'll allow me.
yeah, please.
I think there has been this you mentioned that the feathers that were being used for the fletching of these bolts were much more of like the choirs of angels as opposed to like the warriors of the heavens. I think that there is a archangel figure that has been a thorn in my side for ages and has been trying to wage some like righteous punishment and consequences on Flame for something that happened in his backstory, whether it's part of his heritage, the fact that he is a half angel, half demonic. And I think that let's say what's a Aetheron, the archangel. Say, God, there's so many names now. Naharleth.
Yep.
Naharleth. Aetheron is not far from here. If I can facilitate a battle between angels and demons, will that not satiate your need for a rival?
This feels like such a good time to like introduce the rest of the plot that I have like rolled on these random tables for like what the villain's plot is, and I'm so excited to like put it all in front of you. Because I think like what happens, and I think this is the second roll, is like I think immediately the circumstances change. Naharleth is fucking on board and is like, Aetheron, I would tear his feather from feather. This would be the greatest and I think like as he's saying that, you see the runes on the wall like crackle with electricity, and you notice one of them has been. You notice a matching rune is like burned into his chest and like lights up with electricity, and he lets out like a feral scream, and he's just but I must stay focused on my mission of terrorizing these bumbling farm folk until such a time. And he's like walking back and forth and being like, until such a time that they fall under my blade. And like he starts monologuing in a way of like, you know, it gets a feeling like he is like he's phoning it in, is what I'll say. Like you get a feeling that he's rattling off what he thinks a demon monologue is supposed to sound like to get the runes that have been carved in, and presumably like the things that he's not supposed, like to get it to signal that he's falling back in line with it. I think that the challenge is like how do you free him from this?
So what I'm seeing is that Naharleth would rather search for a rival, a willing foe, as opposed to what his mission set forth is terrorizing a bunch of farmers on the ground. Correct?
Exactly. He has been conscripted into this by some sort of like pact, and some sort of labyrinthine machine construction has conscripted him into this. It has taken him away from his purpose of finding and killing the deadliest beings that the multiverse has to offer. And you can tell like he's like, I can't get out of it on my own volition.
I think that Flame steps forward cautiously, seeing that like the danger isn't necessarily on him at this point. Kind of approaches Naharleth as like a reluctant ally, maybe, and say, Naharleth, if I take this charge from you, take on this burden of being the bane of these farmers' existence, will you not take on my charge of being Aetheron's under his blade, being under Aetheron's blade? Will you not make this, what I see as a fair trade, happen?
And I think like he steps back.
I think I'm reaching a paw towards his chest at the rune to kind of like magically absorb the rune from his chest onto me.
And I think like he is like signaling to you, like, I think he's like delivering a monologue while kind of like signaling with his hands a little bit, because it's a very kind of crude rune-based surveillance thing. I think what he signals to you, like he kind of gestures at the thing. He gestures at like the brand on his chest and gives you the throat slit, like just like get rid of it. And then he just kind of gestured like while he's monologuing about like I would never abandon my quest and my purpose is to terrorize these people.
Okay.
But I think what he's signaling to you is you don't got to take the brand. You just got to get it the fuck off of my chest so that I can be free, and then I'll kill whoever you want me to kill.
Okay. Then in that case, I think what happens is I take out I think there's a scalpel that he has in his knife like bandolier, and it's made of pure angelic, like heavenly gold, wrought from the halo of a fallen angel. And it has been specifically made to like to hurt and permanently damage, but through very like meticulous means, a demon. And I think I pull that out while keeping like bringing a furry finger to my lips, and kind of allow him to like keep going. And I'm going to like try to deface the glyph on his chest, to remove the magical means of this. Yeah.
That feels like an easy 2d6. This feels like okay. you've the 1-2 punch of knife bandolier and also scalpel of angel gold really fucking hit. Really went real hard.
Perfect. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, 2d6 on your way. Okay, that's a 1 and a 4.
Okay, that is your 4th point. That 1 gives you a 4th point of a 3rd point of aloofness.
Okay.
But that 4 was enough to take out the final 2 points of the challenge. Like you deface it just enough that like the sparks are flying from the runes on the wall, but they are not impacting Naharleth. And he like steps back and kind of like clutches his like slightly bloody chest for a moment, and then kind of like stands up, puffs out his chest, and goes, "Ha ha! Finally! The pact of these foolish mortals was broken, and I once again can resume my purpose of," and I think like he stops and like he like, I think if the purpose of this game is for both of us to throw in the tropes and details that like really get us going, which means that I've got to throw in a predator handshake, right? Gotta be the predator handshake.
It's very, the size discrepancy is massive, but it's still there.
Yeah. And I think like we come to like I think what happens is almost immediately the connection being severed. This castle, which was not Naharleth's castle, but was the castle that he was placed in as part of this deceit, begins to collapse in on itself.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And like the unholy machinery starts to tear itself asunder as the two of you race out of it. And the final challenge that I'm going to lay out here
can we first get a Fellowship of the Ring? Never thought I'd be fighting alongside a demon. Well, what about a friend?
For sure. 100%.
Okay,
good. There's no world we don't get that. I think
obviously.
We get the two of you racing out. Naharleth flies out on his wings. You effortlessly leap onto your Pegasus. I think I'm going to have this be a series of challenges or a series of rolls to defeat a final challenge, which is find and stop the person that chained Naharleth and hatched this scheme on these poor farmers. That is the final challenge before us. I think that is the thing of like, that is what is before us. And I think the first roll I'm going to have you make is like, how are you escaping from this existentially collapsing castle with the help of your new demon sword friend?
Oh man.
I think specifically to throw in the threat more specifically,
Please.
Like what this looks like is it's not exploding, it's imploding. So the thing that you have to avoid is chunks of castle being ripped off of the walls and like pulling itself into like a central point.
Sure.
Kind of escaping from a black hole, kind of fleeing from a closing portal. As debris flies in all directions. I think that is the thing. We see some of these ballista bolts in the angelic songs tear by as they are pulled into this central point. It is all kind of collapsing into an event horizon.
Sure. I think, very cat-like feline agility. I'm like jumping from stone to stone, in midair, kind of tag teaming with Naharleth, like grabbing onto his demon tail and like launching myself forward. Meanwhile, he's like, beating his demonic wings forward. I see Featherfoot. I keep on wanting to call him Sweetfoot, but it's Featherfoot. Featherfoot. I keep on seeing him in the foreground, and I just need to reach him to be able to fly away from this. And I remember the classic magic item that I got on my first adventure as a budding rogue, immovable rod, and I bring it out,
classic.
and
one of the
I
all-time classics.
I press the button and I grab onto it while debris is flying past me to be able to stay out of reach of the singularity.
Can I tell you the story of the first game that I ever DM'd for my friends and the situation that I walked into involving
Please.
magic items?
Yeah.
When I first played the first D&D campaign that I ever played, I was in high school. My friend group had been playing for a while, and they were like, we want somebody new to DM. Jeff, you want to DM? Can you come DM for us? And I was like, sure. And I sat down, and they all went, these are our characters. And I remember the first thing that happened was I set up, I was 14, so of course I set up the tavern scene. I was like, here it is. It's absolutely not just the prancing pony again, but we're going to go with it. The first thing that happens is one of the players goes, I'm going to walk on the wall. And I'm like, how are you going to walk on the wall? And he goes, because I have boots of spider climb. And I'm like, how did you get boots of spider climb? And he says, well, because I bought the old DM a soda, so he just let me have boots of spider climb. And I'm like, that can't be.
The amount of times I have to explain to people that, like, yes, Stranger Things is a great introduction to Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, Adventurers Guild is like a very valid way of joining new games. No, you cannot take your level 17 paladin warlock multiclass from your other game into my game with all of their magic items. I'm sorry, that's just not how D&D works anymore.
Yes, I 100%. I'm so glad. Anyway, you've got the immovable rod. Give me a 2d6 roll.
All right, 2d6 coming up. That is a 1 and a 6.
That is 2. This is 5 points of aloofness.
Wow. Okay.
But a badass thing happens, and you knock off. I think this is great because I have my challenge difficulty here set at 10 as sort of our grand finale to face the final villain. That knocks it down. That knocks off 5 points of damage. Which means that like the next one we could end it. I think that you are able to all you have to do is hold on, right? Like it is the classic, like you're just holding on until the portal closes. The castle closes around you, and suddenly you are floating in the empty sky with the debris of a castle kind of scattered on the farmland below.
I think as the singularity like kind of dissipates, and I'm holding on to this immovable rod. Featherfoot flies underneath me. I drop onto his back, and I think now I need to figure out how to get Archeron or Aetheron, whatever their name is, into a battle with Naharleth. But yeah, I guess at this point, what is like the challenge in front of me? What am I trying to solve?
I think this has got to just be that the villain the villain knows that his plan has gone wrong and's got to kind of like show up dramatically.
Okay.
To show up dramatically to square off and have the big confrontation where he reveals himself as the villain. It's got to be the trope that we lean on.
Yes.
Waiting for you is another thing that I have waiting for you in a thing that like is so important to me and is such an important piece of like my journey into becoming games that I'm just gonna invoke it here. We're gonna bust out one of my favorite things one of the things that when I first cracked open a tabletop RPG, when I first cracked open Dungeons and Dragons when I was 15 years old, I saw this and said, all right, this might be a defining thing of my life. We're going to bust out an apparatus of Qualish. We're going to bust out a full-size crab mech here.
All right.
Waiting for you in a giant crab mech.
He's our final villain, Neville St. Alabaster. Wealthy aristocrat, and Naharleth like comes bearing down, and the crab mech like rears back and fires like a net of angelic elven angelic rope that entangles Naharleth and like binds him. And I think like over the speaker you start to get a villain monologue of, it was an arrangement that was going to work for everybody. You spend a little bit of time bothering some farmers, you claim their land as your demonic domain, and then you sell it to me for pennies. I don't see why you couldn't just play along for another 3 days. 3 days is all I was asking for, and then everybody would have been happy, but no. Now I'm out of castle. Now I've got to break out the big guns. I got to break out the crab guns. And now now a bunch of people are going to have to die so that I can get this land so that I can build a very nice oil well.
Oh, Neville, I thought I might find you here.
Oh, of course. Of course. I should have known.
Flame Shadow Blade Hawk. Yeah, you get my name right.
I should have known when there was a sudden pain in my backside that it was Flame Shadow Blade Hawk. Of course it was.
We have to stop running into each other like this.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure that happens this time. And I think the crab, how are you defeating an oversized crab robot?
How am I defeating an oversized crab robot? Oh my gosh.
What a good question to ask somebody in a game. The game's rule.
You know what's awesome is I think we bring it right back to the start. And I think I land to the ground just as this crab mech rises on its hind legs to like launch its attack at me. I look to Okra, at the drowning frog, who is the conversation that you missed in the background was, we had been planning. We knew that Neville was going to be behind this whole time. And I wink at Okra, where he brings out the giant vat of spiced and peppered boiling water and says, I say, you know what, how to best deal with a giant crab mech? The same way you deal with any other kind of crab. You boil it. And
my head is in my hands. Oh my God, that's so perfect.
And
fuck.
Vats of oil and fire, and boiling water, and what's the crab old bay seasoning just cover this mech and just eat away at its joints and gaskets until it's just a heaping pile of machinery.
I want you to roll me 2d6. This has defeated it either way. I just need, because you're at 5 aloofness, I just need to know if you have a final moment with these people, or if you disappear into the mist.
All right. So I'm rolling 2 dice right now. I guess let's find out what happens. That's a 6 and a 1. Get me to 7.
2 points of aloof. I'm so excited. This could not have ended better. The crab is rusted shut. Neville is trapped inside. He is begging to be released. He is Naharleth taps the top of it and starts to conjure a fiery slate and goes, "Don't worry, I shall arrange for your release." And we flash forward moments later. There's a scene of jubilation at the drowned frog, and Okra, I think, looks to the table and the bag of coin is gone. Where has fire disappeared to? Like, what does the scene look like? What does the scene of fire's absence look like?
I think Flame Shadow Blade Hawk was never much of one to stick around to watch the town heal, to watch the to be thanked. I think he gets uncomfortable at any kind of vulnerability being shared to him. So you just see him stepping away, hood up, snarl tooth out into a smirk, and hops on the back of Featherfoot as they fly off into the sunset. never to be seen again by anybody who is at the current situation. I think he's just gone.
I think as you take off, underneath you, like we see Featherfoot take off. We see you on top. We see the two of you like flapping wing underneath you is the demonic silhouette of Naharleth.
Yep.
And the last thing that we see seated on a similar throne of glittering gold, beams of light turning into rainbow all around him. Aetheron cracks his knuckles, like looking into a pool of water at the scene, cracks his knuckles and goes, "Finally, destiny awaits." That's gay.
What an ending. Thank you so much for giving me the crab mech at the end. I just knew that I got to bring it back and
I was
take us home.
when you got to take the glasses off and just sit head in hands for a minute, you just know like this is we did it, we got there.
Hey,
that's where magic
if it wasn't
happens.
for your foundation, the foundation that you laid at the start of it, you never could have gotten here.
I'm so happy. I gotta know, because I asked you to write up I asked you to like come up with 3 character concepts, and then we fell in love with one, and they didn't end up leaving it till the very end. What else did you have in the chamber?
Jeff, have you ever been to whothefuckismydndcharacter.com?
No.
Open up another tab and just type in whothefuckismydndcharacter.com. Because I was just going to use one of those.
This is great. This hits. Yeah, cool, perfect.
I have to know what rolled up.
Check
when
this shit out. I'm gonna be a fucking curious human barbarian from a frozen jungle who keeps a blacklist. That doesn't make any sense. Great.
And then you click the little bottom link. Mine is, I'm going to roll the stats for a fucking assertive half-elf monk from the Black Dungeon who is getting too old for all this shit.
Great.
So that's all I was going to do.
This feels like this feels like a tailor-made compliment to Elf with a 10-page backstory. Is just
it's not quite cliche and stereotypical and tropey, but it, if you need
big and it's this is
if
great.
you ever need an NPC like idea, just pull up this thing and it gives you a really good, just like a little one pager.
This feels great. Talk to me about what your favorite moment was from play.
Honestly, I never get the opportunity to do callbacks. I'm horrible at callbacks, and getting to land one felt really good. So I think just you're an incredible game master, allowing me to have as much agency over the world as you let me. Because I know that I probably stretched the intention of how this game is played of like, yes, I think the best part about Dungeons and Dragons or any kind of fantasy storytelling game is the collaborative nature of building this world. It's so much less of a DM is the game engine, you're playing within the world. It's so much more of you're building this world together. Brick by brick in front of you, one step ahead before you step onto it, and allowing me to decide that, there's angels involved somehow. And, from the very start, I didn't even realize what the mechanics were, that the only real mechanic was that I need to add backstory during the challenges. From the very start, I'm like, oh yeah, my dad's a angel, my dad's a demon, my mother's an angel, and you're like, oh, we don't even need to get to that part at this point. So it's just like, oh, this is great though, I love it.
It's so funny when you were like, I think I want to add this detail. I wasn't sure where you were gonna go, but when you were like, I think there are angel feathers, I looked at the tables, here's your villains plan tables, and what I had ended up rolling was that they were collecting or like destroying things in their path with legions of lesser demons and angels that they had chained into service with like legal documents of permission. And I was like, and so like when you said that, I was like, well, I know from the note from what's in front of me that this aristocratic fuck is doing a land grab. And specifically is like chaining up angels and demons with this technology, this like evil thing. And I was like, it could not have fit better into what was already in front of me when you made that pitch. I was like, yeah, no, that's a slam dunk.
The dice tell a story.
Sometimes that's real magic. This was fantastic. Thank you so much for this. Real quick before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
You can find me at Johnny Stanton IV. That's Johnny Stanton the Fourth. On most any kind of social. I have kind of left Twitter and TikTok in the dust given the whole state of the world, but you can definitely find me on Instagram and a little bit on Threads. I'm trying to get back into the whole Twitter Threads posting habit, but I don't think it's necessarily something I need to work too hard to continue. Find me on hopefully more soon on the Friday Beers YouTube channel, doing some fun D&D stuff over there. And I'm on a couple dropout stuff if you want to find me on there as well.
This is fantastic. I'm over the moon at this. This was a real joy. Thank you so much for this. For now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me.
Thanks, Past Me, and thanks again to Johnny for coming on the show. That game was exactly what I wanted, just like a true, charming, delightful romp through all of the things that we love about tabletop games. Really wonderful experience. I could not be happier. Be sure to head to StantonIV.com to check out all of Johnny's work. Be sure to head to devindecibel.itch.io to pick up your own copy of Elf with a 10-page backstory. And be sure to follow Johnny on social media at Johnny Stanton IV. If there's one thing that you can do to support the show, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to support us, the one thing I would recommend this week is supporting the show on Patreon at patreon.com/JeffStormer. It's $5 a month. That's the only tier. You get access to bonus episodes of Party of One, live shows like our Party of One Says Go Birds recordings, bonus podcasts such as Batman Bump in the Night and Superman Walk in the Sun, and just other things that I'm working on a given week. You get access to all of these things. It's a great way to support the show and help us keep the lights on. You can find all of that information at patreon.com/JeffStormer. Party of One is produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. You can inquire about advertising rights, guesting on the show, or about press coverage by reaching out to me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I'm missing something, that's all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.
Never gonna die.